However, before I move forward, I would like to draw the attention of the general public to the fact that this case is not just about the criminal defendants that are indicted before the court. It is more about addressing systemic issues in this country. This case has pinched a lot of nerves from people of power who believe that the culture of impunity has been their guiding factor for the commission of crime. So the disinformation is coming from multiple sources. So I want you to see beyond this case and look at the fact that this is about ending the culture of impunity that even the great corruption in this country is resident upon. So obviously, I expect the kind of attacks that we see coming from all angles about this particular issue. There's been claims and counterclaims about the police attempting to bribe suspect Yanti and trying to coerce him into lying on other co-defendants. I'm here to make clarity that at no point in time the Delaware National Police at any given instance have an engagement with Mr. Yanti concerning any issue of bribery. Of the names that he listed, there's no one who has got any authority to commit government in that regard. More so, Mr. Yanti has been identified from day one as a person of interest in this case, and he has been on the run. Through mutual cooperation with the Ghanaian police, he was arrested and subsequently turned over. Mr. Yanti was brought back into the country on the 6th, the intervention of a family member who made a request that he was willing to cooperate and become a witness. However, we know that in criminal investigation, cooperating suspects are always leaders. When he was brought in based on the request of the family member who assisted in this process, we gave him a chance to speak with him and to test the legitimacy of his willingness to assist in the investigation. In the process, it was proven that indeed he could not be trusted. He was already charged even before he was charged in absentia, so even before being arrested. As such, he was brought over at central headquarters and subsequently turned over to the court. At no point in time did we ever intend to make a deal with him or to even promise him what he's claiming. The claims that you're hearing and counterclaims, I don't even know which one to believe. 50,000, 200,000, 2,000, whichever one it is. Though I can tell you they made requests that we could not honor. And at no point in time did we enter any agreement with Mr. Yanti to lie or to force him or coerce him in any way, shape, or form to speak falsely against any of the defendants. The LNP will remain resolute. This matter is, like I say, is before the court. We are still looking at for other suspects. Now that we have a full indictment, the diffusion, the Interpol diffusion that we have for the suspects that are alive, I've instructed the Deputy Inspector General for Current Services, Intelligence, and Interpol to upgrade that diffusion notice in the Interpol system to a red notice. So over the next few days, that notice will be published. As soon as we get a feedback from NCB, will receive the feedback from Interpol, it will be published out there. It will be shared with our counterparts around the world to have those criminal suspects repatriated to Nigeria for prosecution. Mr. Yanti returned followed lawful procedures. He was accorded the due privileges. The Ghanaian police cooperated with us. The relative of his who engaged and asked us to give him a chance because he wanted to intervene. We have spoken to them. We have their sworn statements and everything. When Mr. Yanti came in, he willingly, in the presence of his lawyer, made sworn statement that we have on record that was videotaped and also written in by his own hand. The video is clear. When it is right, when that time reaches at court, it will be presented for whatever evidence purpose. But at no point in time was he ever forced to do anything of such. I just want to stop here.